Gratitude?
Sure. Let's welcome everybody to this team Zoom for Monday night, March 27th. Yes. This is JoJo Bennington. So happy to have you guys on tonight. And we have a lot to get through tonight. So let's get rolling and start with some gratitudes. Paul, take it away.
I just got off the phone 5 minutes ago with somebody who I've been dripping on for about a year now. She finally called up and all she said was, I'm ready to go. And that was it. I was like, oh crap, the new system's out. The heck do I do? I don't have anything printed. For the last week and a half, I got a binder that I was going to fill up and I was going to call it my playbook. So this is the cover of it. So you put some information in here and just so you can, have it in front of you and just go through it, enrollment forms, information, cake recipe questions, stuff like that. So it's
awesome.
It's ready.
Great idea. Love it. Congratulations. That's a good gratitude. Awesome. Anybody else? Mary? Was that a minute? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Sorry. Oh, you were clapping. Gotcha. Anyone else want to throw out a gratitude?
Real quick, I have something. So we drove our daughter to California this past weekend to start a new chapter in her life. And it was pretty challenging for her because it didn't all go as smoothly as she had it all figured out in her little head. So, but having gone through, like with me and with her dad, like some mental focus and her mindset and doing meditation every day is really helping her stay grounded and work through the change and work through the challenges. I'm really grateful that she, at a young age, is exposed to that and has a tool to deal with the stress that she's under right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She's got so much going straight in the good direction for her. So
I know. But
she's only got her to stand in her way.
Oh my God. Yeah. We had left yesterday. We left at 7:15. She's calling Noah when we're driving back, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." so good.
She'll be good. Awesome. Yeah. Good for her. We're excited to see. We'll be there soon enough to play. So
I know
she won't miss us too much.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else got a quick one before we get rolling? I see a hand up. Okay, there you go. Got it? Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just grateful that Gail and I could get away this past weekend without the boys and spend some time together. That was awesome. It's good to refresh every once in a while without the kids helping.
For sure. You need a non-kid refresher weekend every now and then. Good for you guys. That's awesome. We were watching your fun posts. That's good. Chad.
So ionix and this nutrition, I think it's just a wonderful gift. I think we all know that. Because on Saturday, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
On Saturday, I was packing all the kids in the car. My daughter had an indoor field hockey game or indoor soccer game. Packed all the kids in the car, and I was going to pull the handle to the door so the automatic door would shut on the van. Well, the 110-pound door fell off the car. And any other time, I would just go bonkers. But something happened where I'm holding the door in my hand, and it's hanging by a wire. So this is a Honda Odyssey. I'll just throw it out there. Hanging by a wire, and I'm like, what am I going to do? The door's off of the car. What am I supposed to do now? Right? So the kids even saw, I was pretty zen about it. upset and disappointed, but pretty zen. And it turned out, and this comes from Jojo, conversations that you and I have had, Nick, and bunches of people on this call that I've had conversations with. You kind of look at a situation, and one that would seem super stressful, something good is going to come of it. And something good came of it. Like the tow truck guy who showed up, he was just going to throw my car in the back of his flatbed and take off. But lo and behold, the place I wanted him to tow it to didn't even repair doors on the sides of cars. And the guy ended up being a good dude, and we're like friends now. We're friends on Facebook. We're probably going to meet up over a beer or a coffee. And like he has a business, and I want to share our business with him. And then the guy who's actually fixing our door is like an amazing dude. We never would have met him if the door hadn't happened. So I guess the bottom line is our nutrition is unbelievable, and everything happens for a reason.
Obstacle into opportunity. That's awesome.
And don't buy a Honda Odyssey. It's just my take.
We are disclaiming the Honda like slander.
Disclaimer. It's not slander. I apologize. I guess what I'm saying is make sure you get your maintenance checks, because we may have missed one or some.
Personal 100% responsibility because your door fell off, right?
That was not right to put any particular car down, so I apologize.
All good. No, thank you for that. Thank you for pointing that out. And it's actually a good time to a good night for you to bring up how cool ionix is, because we're going to be chatting about that. But first, so you guys know when they did the website update, and has everybody seen the new website? Isn't it beautiful? Awesome, right? Thumbs up. So first of all, you guys, this was a huge rollout. If you realize how much went into this and how much work they've done and what a big deal this is, have patience if there's things that aren't working right. Give them some grace if they're doing the best they can to get everything functioning as quickly as possible. But when the auto ships processed last night, they processed at retail price. So anybody in Australia and New Zealand has already been charged, and they are reversing the charges and making that right. Anybody in the US, they have caught the charges, they are stopping them, they reverse them, and they're charging them the correct price. So if anybody calls and says, hey, I was charged the wrong thing, they know that it's already being taken care of, and the company's going to put a $10 coupon in their back office for any, oopsie on their part. So you guys know. So just have patience with this. It's going to be a great thing. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to, just because it's different, and know that they're working as hard as they can on there. And if there's a big thing, then let us know, and they want to know these things. So we will contact them and let them know what those big things are. So let us know, and we'll reach out to them then.
One quick thing, I don't know if anybody knows, I actually just found out last night myself, and we've been around for 11 years, that you can customize your website. I don't know if anybody knows this. Your duplicated website, if you go to, what's that drop down, Dave?
Under resources.
Under resources, called customize my website or something of that nature. I can't remember.
Manage my website.
Manage my website. And you can go on there and you can set your website to where you have your own videos, you have your own write up about yourself if you want. You can have contact information. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can put your picture there. I'm just saying, I'm sure everybody here already knows that. I didn't know that until last night. So.
All good. Thank you. Some people may not have known that. So for the social media blitz, anybody who's playing along, make sure that you are posting at your correct time, because those times are specifically chosen for posting based on how Facebook works. So make sure that you're using your correct times, your hashtags. Make sure your posts are public. And if you're posting from Instagram to Facebook at any time, remember that you have to go back into Facebook and make your post public every single time. It doesn't, like, you can't set it once and have it do it forever. If you're doing Instagram to Facebook, you have to go back to the Facebook post and make that post public. So remember that. Good tip. So let's roll. So let's start out. Derek was supposed to be with us last week, and that didn't work out. but we're glad that he's here tonight. Good to see your face. No worries, dude. And so we just want to give you a few minutes. So Derek had the opportunity to spend the weekend with Rod Hairston at the Top 50 event. And so we just kind of want to pick his brain and have him share what happened at that event and some of his big takeaways. So good to see your face. Take it away, brother.
Oh, you unmuted me. Okay, can you hear me? Is it working? Okay. I tried doing this for Chelsea and Raph. It didn't work. So, man, okay. So I got a little bit of practice with Chelsea's team, and so I'll have a little bit of a smoother rundown with this one, so I'm excited. So Top 50 was an insane, crazy, awesome opportunity. And it is so hard to try and cram pack 16 hours of just so much growth within like just a couple minutes. But I'll kind of talk briefly and then I'll open it up for questions because I think that might be a little bit better and offer some more quality content for you guys as well. But just by raise of hands, who here has completed Healthy Mind and Body? Okay, you guys are all freaking awesome because I still haven't done it all the way. And so this is kind of a cool thing for me because I've done it 2 or 3 times and I've always made it halfway and then I just stop. And so this was actually kind of like a really cram-packed Healthy Mind and Body in 2 days, but more of a kind of Tony Robbins aspect. So he talked actually quite a bit about a lot of the stuff that are similar in Healthy Mind and Body, but the first day was all more of rewriting our subconscious blueprints. And so he kind of helped us each individually pinpoint what exactly was stopping us and allowed us the opportunity to go and kind of clear that up and then understanding the habits to rebuild from there and to actually make some lasting change. So I'm sure you guys have seen some awesome change with Healthy Mind and Body. From the half of it that I've done, it was awesome for me. And I mean, I don't know if he talks a lot about this, but some of the things that I took away from Top 50 was realizing that absolutely everything that we do is done by habit and everything in our brain is all to keep in alignment with our habits, right? And so, for example, for somebody who smokes 2 packs a day, it is very, very easy for them to smoke 2 packs a day because they built the habit of doing that. It's like if you had a non-smoker try and smoke 2 packs a day, the very, very first day, they would never smoke ever again. And it's because of the simple subtlety of building a habit that actually rewrites our subconscious brain. And I'll kind of dive into a little bit about that later on. And so I had kind of a cool ahas and new ways to kind of build this into my Ionix business because for me, health and fitness is a very, very simple thing for me because, for 5 years, I've done the consistent effort of going to the gym, whether or not I feel like it, being more health conscious and taking my products or eating better foods, saying no to the cookies, even though they're on my face or like the bag of candy that Lexi always buys. And I have to make sure that she eats all of them because I don't want to touch it. So this is kind of a really cool, humbling experience too, because it made me realize that where we are, every one of us, is exactly where we need to be. And a lot of the times we get in this motion of feeling stuck because we keep hanging on to these past feelings, these past habits, these past thoughts without ever really truly moving on from them. I know that Rod talks in Healthy Mind and Body about the 5 aspects of growth. So it's accountability, responsibility, flexibility, capability, and vulnerability. And a couple different cool things that he talked about those things is how everything that we do, so 90% of what we experience in life is all from the unconscious mind. And to recognize that what we have is just here and now, and to change, if we're dissatisfied with our life, then we have every single opportunity to change that. And to be in the moment right now with love and gratitude for the good and the bad puts us in a position to actually move forward and grow. And a couple cool things that I really liked. He talked, flexibility was one of my biggest things, because a lot of us, whether we think so or not, we're inflexible. We're not willing to change, and we're not willing to actually change those habits that we know that are actually going to move us forward. And so like he talked a lot. He's like, you guys already know how to build a business. Like for you guys, most of you know how to build a network marketing business, but it's the habits that are stopping you, and the inability to be flexible that is ultimately creating your downfall. So for me, that's kind of what it was. It's like I can easily go and talk to people. Talking to people is not a problem. Following up, not a problem. All that stuff, not a problem. It's like when I do it, business is great, but the habits aren't consistent with that to actually build a sustainable business. So that's kind of what I've experienced is, all right, why am I having this up and down roller coaster in my business? It's because of my habits and those simple things right there. So our brains, the reason we have habits is because our brains are subconsciously wired to keep us protected and safe. So we have the whole fight or flight mentality, right? And with this mentality, our brain loves to keep us in certainty. So everything that we do, justifications, we do everything to be certain, right? And he talks about how we think that being certain and going about a life that is certain, we call it faith, but it's not. So like that's ego. It's being certain is ego. Whereas faith is moving everything into the uncertain zone, the uncomfortable zone, the growth zone, whatever you want to call it. Being in that moment as much as you possibly can. It's not sustainable to be there 100% of the time, but he's like 55% of your time should be in that zone. And that's what eventually is going to build that habit. It's a small 55%, not 100, but the 55, that's all you need to actually create awesome habits. So he said we reward people for claiming faith, but staying the same. And that's not what faith is. Faith is actively moving forward to living a better quality life, whatever aspect you want to put that to just move yourself forward. That's faith. And so he said we need to stop awarding people for the wrong thing. So, and he said if you're not flexible, you're arrogant too. So that was kind of a nice smack in the face to constantly being girl. So I'm like, all right, I gotta keep being flexible. Cool. So I know in Healthy Mind and Body, Rod talks about our brain, and he did this at Celebration too. So that same, I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to go onto the Mechanic to Millionaire page where Carrie posted the hour-long video and watched kind of what our brain is. So he did that for us when he first did that at Celebration as well. And so just to kind of recap, our brain comes up. We have, is this backwards? I don't know if this would be backwards. Is that backwards? That's backwards. Okay, so just from top to bottom, it says this is kind of what makes up our brain. It's our desires, then our conscious mind, then our emotions, and then it goes to unconscious mind, identity, and imagination. So just quick recap on all of that, and you can go to Healthy Mind and Body or Carrie's page for that. But everything that we do in life is all for emotion, right? So we leave Celebration, we're super freaking pumped, we're going to become millionaires in a year, kill it, right? And I remember I've done that so many times, it's stupid. I'm like, okay, frick, I'm still consultant, this is retarded. But it's all because of this emotion. You're all hyped up, and so when you don't have your identity or the habits to actually make that happen, then you're going to be in the same spot over and over again. And understanding that there isn't an end point also helps you to make progress forward. A lot of us think it's like, okay, when I am a 3-star, or when I'm a millionaire, when I'm a 12-star, or when I'm in this position to do this, this, and this, right? Then like we think that's the point that our identity is going to happen, right? But it's not. It's understanding that it's just the habits. And so when you can be habit oriented, you're able to actually push through the days that you don't want to go, because you're trying to establish a habit, not to get a 6-pack overnight. You're like, okay, I understand this is a long-term game, and that actually plays a powerful effect on your brain to stick with it. For me, I told myself, I'm like, all right, if I'm not a millionaire in 10 years, then I'm quitting. I'm like, if I can do it in 10 years, I'm good. So I still got 8.5. No, I got one. I got a lot of time, but that helps me to keep in perspective. It's like, okay, it's a long game. I'm still developing the habits, going to the events like this, growing myself. Those are the habits that eventually is going to help me be, at the position and the goals that I want. And it just keeps building from there, right? So that's where capability comes in, is that there's never an end point. So our brain, our unconscious mind, everything is running through there, and our identity and our unconscious mind are constantly bouncing back and forth, checking with each other to make sure that like, hey, is this desire to be a millionaire, like it'll go through the whole thing. Our conscious mind will be all pumped up with emotion, and then it goes over to unconscious mind, and then identity is like, oh, this isn't really us, like red flag, no go, like cancel the whole mission, we're done. So then you get like a week after celebration, and you're like, all right, I'm over this, like 90-day game plan, try it next time, right? Done that so many times. And I look back at like my old posts where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill this 90-day game plan. I kind of want to go back and like delete those posts because like nothing ever came from those 90-day game plans. And I'm like, okay, got to reevaluate a little bit. So, but no, it's all good. It's just all this learning experience. It's all like, that's when you can look at it like, and you can laugh at yourself and you're like, okay, I'm just learning. That's it. Then you have this position of love and power and gratitude and rawness that actually move you a lot faster. So how am I doing? Good?
It's the only apprenticeship where you can make $1 million, right?
It is. That's really true. So I'm actually really grateful for that.
So tell me something. So you went through this event. So what's going to change now?
So I was talking, so I went with me and Curtis MacArthur. We went together and we like shared a room and everything. And we had a lot of just really cool conversations. And so for me to actually go to a place where everything that I've ever experienced in my life, we did this exercise where we revisited a lot of like the very big key stages of my life that kind of made me who I am, whether or not they were serving me or not, right? So I was able to kind of go and make amends and peace with all of that, and to just finally feel present and now, and that everything is perfect now, right? It's not trying to be perfect, but it's just trying to be the best person I can be. And so what was cool is he talked a lot about enthusiasm versus excitement. And if we can understand this, enthusiasm tied along with the long-term game, then that's what is going to make the change. And so when I left this event, it wasn't like I was leaving celebration where I was just super pumped out of my mind. I was just all this. So real quick, he said excitement is outside motivation working on you, and then enthusiasm is inside motivation working out, right? So if you can do everything from enthusiasm, right, or entheos means with God, everything inside out, then that's going to sustain those habits that you want to build and establish. And he's like, if you don't like the habits that you have now, he's like, change them. You have a screwed up self, get a new self, right? And it's just that simple. It's like we overcomplicate so many things in our heads just to try and stay certain, but we're not certain. We're just trying to convince ourselves and mask what we're actually experiencing or not experiencing, and we're trying to justify that. So for me, it was cool. Walking away was, I have the tools, and all my focus has to be is just developing the habits and just doing a little bit more each day. Make 2 calls every single day. And if I can build that habit long term, then that's going to bring a lot of success, right? And it just kind of keeps building from there and there. And it was just, I felt that enthusiasm. I didn't feel this pumped up, super stoked emotion that I normally do when I'm like, I'm going to crush an 90-day game plan. It was like, no, it's not about that. It's not about this amped up emotion that doesn't get us anywhere. And Rod even talked about how like they wanted to make this a corporate event, and Rod was like, I won't do it because this needs to be for the people who actually want to generate change, right? He's like, if we did a celebration, then the people that shouldn't be there are going to come. And that's the thing is it's also want this and who deserve to have these opportunities, right? And so that kind of shows a big thing. So for me, it was just, I have everything I need, and that there's no reason to ever feel down about my situation or anything. It's all working out perfectly how it's supposed to, and I just got to build the habits and move forward. So that was kind of my big takeaway.
That's awesome. And I think the enthusiasm, excitement piece is really telling for a lot of us, right? We come out of the big events and we feel all pumped up, and then you get out of the vibration and you don't feel that anymore. But when it comes from the inside instead of the outside, completely different. So thank you for sharing that. And I know that there's going to be another Rod Harrison event coming up. If anybody's interested, I'll post it up when it gets posted. Anybody have any questions?
I have a couple of quick comments, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Quick.
Sorry.
Quick. Quick.
All right, I'll break it down to just one comment. We have everything that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't need anything else. We have everything that we need to become the person we want to be, to live the life we want to live, to exude the energy that we want to exude. So we already have everything that we need. We don't need anything else. So thank you, Derek. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
There's a lot of notes, but any other questions?
No, and if any of those notes you want to transcribe and throw them into the page, it would be great to see them, though.
I am still in the process of trying to get it all on my laptop. So
Cool.
It's like,
Awesome.
they give us a notebook and I filled half of it in 2 days. So
Nice.
it was heavy, but it was
Well,
awesome.
when you get it all together, then we'll steal your notes.
Okay. Hopefully it makes sense.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. We appreciate it.
Thank you. So also, just real quick, if you want to, he said, so I got his book. I know he's like, we all have what we need, but like this book, if you use this book in alongside with Healthy Mind and Body, then you're going to get exactly the same thing that I got, right? You're just not going to have like the environment, but that's kind of why. So Dave MacArthur, he has a group going on right now with the book. It's going to be, I think, a 6-week thing or 30-day thing or whatever, but they're going through the book. And so if you want to do that alongside with Healthy Mind and Body, then you'll get the same exact experience. And like, actually the book goes a lot deeper than what we did in the 2 days. So just going to throw that out
Cool.
there.
All right. We'll get the info on that and get it posted up for everybody. Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So tell me how to be stress-free, Nick and Steph.
All right.
You mean Nick? Because Nick just told me that we're presenting.
Nicholas.
What? Can't be held accountable for messages I respond to at like 6:30 in the morning.
Okay. I'll remember that.
Jojo messaged me at 11:11 p.m.
All right, go.
All right. So, Ionix Supreme. I thought Chad was going to steal this from me right off the start. But I think we all know that Ionix Supreme is meant for... Jojo, can you mute yourself?
Sorry.
It's okay. Ionix Supreme is meant for stress relief. Okay, and that's what we think, or we're too stressed, it'll bring us down. If we're too tired, it'll bring us up, give us some energy. That's like the basic way to explain it, because you don't want to get into too much crazy detail. Quick little backstory on Ionix for us personally. If Ionix Supreme wasn't a product that we had and didn't have the effect that it does and as amazing as it is, I don't know if we'd be here. Because initially, that's what Steph was looking for. She was looking for natural stress relief. And that's what sparked Chad and like got all energized into her and was like, you need to look at this. This is going to help you. Let's do this.
He probably would have brought up isogenics another way, but
regardless, probably still would have happened because that's what needed to happen to us in our life and everything. But yeah. So initially adaptogens, they have their background in Eastern medicine, Asia, Europe. But one interesting thing that I found was that the first scientific studies done on adaptogens were done by Soviet Union scientists, very oddly enough. And what they found was, and this was the first clinical studies done. Obviously, there already been documented kind of effects and benefits, but nothing in the new world had been looked at this. So what they had found is improving strength, energy, stamina in their soldiers and athletes, which was really weird and crazy because obviously a lot of weird stuff happened back then. but basically physical performance while reducing fatigue. And I knew about the whole fatigue part probably 6 months ago, went on a call with Heather Messenger. And she has an amazing story with ionix and stress and what things that she went through, which is very powerful. But a big thing ionix, she said, was I always do it when I'm working out because it's a huge thing for your recovery. And with that being said, we always say, take it in the morning or take it at night for sleeping better. But interesting enough, ionix, Isogenics says doesn't have a toxicity level. So they say you can pretty much take the more the better, they say. So, the recommended use, but you can take more. And the more you learn about this and the benefits that it has, you can kind of take more as you need it and you feel your body. And just like Derek talked about, healthy mind and body is all about getting in touch with what your body feels and what it needs. So that kind of just goes hand in hand with figuring out what your body's doing and what it needs and how to address it. And like Chad said, we have all the things to address what our body needs. Just to quickly go through a few of the ingredients, wolfberry is one of them. And this specifically is the one they say kind of deals with that oxidative stress in the body. Okay. It has antioxidant properties. Just like a lot of stuff that we deal with Isogenics, which is amazing. And let me see. There's a few other things I wanted to touch on. But ashwagandha. Ashwagandha root. I think, yeah. One of the, I don't know, there's just so many great things about ionix that it's kind of hard to nail it all down. But one of the biggest takeaways for me was that it's not just for your, stress of your head and all that sort of stuff. It can be used for many other things, and it has greater effects than we know. One of the things, where is it? I just lost it. This is one of the ones that I really liked. So I know that, anything that Isogenics has, we can't cure, prevent, or anything with diseases or whatnot, right? But, when you're talking about these specific ingredients have been shown to do certain things and aid the body in certain ways. Like the wolfberry is saying, nourishes the liver, kidney, and eyes. That's what studies have found with that specific ingredient. There's something, where else was it? I just lost it. Really? Where was it? Sorry, I missed my spot here. But obviously, there's other things in here. Helps with the central nervous system and all of that to help your body. But it basically, it's all aiding your body with stress and your organs and all of that.
Did you know that it was clinically proven to reduce cellular stress?
Yes. I thought I'd seen that, but I couldn't.
So I've actually done studies to test what ionix does to people who are under a huge amount of cellular stress. And that can be from metabolic syndrome. It can be from external stress. But stress is has the biggest impact on ourselves of anything else that goes on in our life. So it's kind of a huge thing.
Yes, it is.
Does anybody have a cool fact about ionix that you know?
Goes well with isopro and greens for the nighttime hours.
I got one.
Nice. Yeah.
Didn't John Anderson invent it to replenish his cells after all the stuff he had to take for the anti-venom for getting was it anti-venom for getting bit by that spider?
Yeah, there was that was one of the things. Yes. Can anybody talk to Shilajit? Does anybody know about Shilajit?
Isn't that the stuff he gets from the mountains in India?
It is.
Woo-hoo.
Can you spell that?
It's Shialijit. Shilajit.
I thought you said Sheila E. I'm sorry.
I don't know. She's the drummer. No, not Sheila E. Did you know this? That there are minerals that are included in ionix that come from a Jurassic forest that was buried I don't know how long ago, but it has started to come back up. And so they are going in and taking the minerals that are pure from this humic shell that has come back up out of the earth. And that's where part of our minerals come from. And we own part of where this Isagenix owns that, or John Anderson owns part of where that comes from. So no one can ever go in and destroy it. Just like the water and where our pure crystal water comes from, we own many of the water sites where our base water comes from. Cool. Does no one know about Shilajit? Liz, are you on? Can you speak to Shilajit? Maybe she can't talk. I know that she was having an issue with her computer earlier.
Hey, Jojo, I heard John did a podcast about it.
Yes.
And it's something about how the mountain expands and contracts with the different temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
So this stuff almost oozes out of it at some point. And it was a guy that I think he knew a long time before he discovered it, had gotten back in touch with him somehow. And he took a trip over there to go see it.
He's actually went up into the Himalayas, which is where it grows. And the population in the Himalayas grows to such an old age in health. And that is one of the main key things that they ingest is the Shilajit that comes out of the mountain, that grows out of the mountain. So pretty cool. So like you look at our ionix and we could have, and I've heard him say before, we could have built an entire company just on that. If we wanted to just be a juice of the week, but we aren't, right? And it would be the best juice of the week ever. We call it happy juice. So anybody, especially when you have females who are going through that time of life, it's definitely happy juice.
So what about the dose? Like the main dose on it is twice a day. And I know that Nick mentioned if you feel you need it, take it. But since it's non-toxic,
1 to 2 ounces a day is the recommended dose. If you are under a high amount of stress, more is acceptable.
Yeah, right on isagenixhealth.net, obviously they're not going to tell you, they're not going to put out exposure of an upper limit that they're going to say, but they just say the more the better. So, vaguely telling you that it's okay.
You guys have anything else you want to add in or any questions about ionix? Other than it's probably my favorite product and you would have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands if you're trying to take it away from me.
So,
going along with that and the dosage, you can't recommend to anyone else that they take more than the allowed amount, but you can make those own decisions for yourself. Like Dave MacArthur said in a meeting that we were at recently that he can't tell other people that he can give these products to his children, but as a parent, he can make that decision for himself and allow his kids to take what he feels they can take based on his knowledge and experience and research. So I wouldn't tell other people that they can, but tell them what's in it and that it's non-toxic and let them make those decisions for themselves.
So we always go by the recommended dose. Thanks, Chelsea. We always go by the recommended dose, which is 1 to 2 ounces a day. And also when you look at the adaptogens that go in and conform to the environment, my environment is different than your environment. And so the adaptogens go in and adapt to that environment. So if I need energy and performance and recovery and oxygen, it's going to give me that. If I take it before bed and I want to shut down and I take it right before bed, it's going to help me shut down and go to sleep. What happens if I take it before bed and go read a book and watch TV? It's going to think I want to be awake and it's going to wake me up, and you are not going to sleep well. Right? So don't do that. If you're going to take it at night before bed, take it, put your head on the pillow. And don't put any brain stimulation in between that. So good questions. Is there anybody that doesn't need this stuff? Is there anybody that's not under stress? Yeah. Right. Cool. Good. Helpful. Good job, Nick and Steph. So what about Cleanse for Life? Katya. Yeah, that stuff.
That stuff. That stuff right here. So, Cleanse for Life. That's an interesting one, because often when you bring up cleansing, you get the ugh face from people because they have had some sort of an experience that wasn't really pleasant. So I think we all have our own ways how to introduce someone to the idea of cleansing. And I typically keep it pretty simple. I just say, unlike other products that you might have used in the past or heard of, we're cleansing everything from your brain cells down to your little toe and everything in between. So I try not to overwhelm them with the whole science behind it, and that's what we have our tools for. But it was really interesting for me to find out when Jojo asked me, like earlier today, if I could speak on this real quick, and I went on our sites, and one thing that kept showing up was, just like we do for our systems, how we are encouraging people to make this a lifestyle, so it has to fit in with their daily life, with their family life. It goes for our cleanse days as well, and I really hadn't thought about that too much in the past. And there's really different kinds of cleansers out there, how they treat a cleanse day, and I'm big on telling people that it's totally okay to do it the way they feel the best on a cleanse day. Because I know that's like, we have those cleansing purists, right? So the purists on cleansing, they take the 4 ounces of our cleanse 4 times a day. They have the 6 snack wafers and tons of water, and that's it. When I share this with someone and I see the look on their face and they're like, what do you mean? I cannot possibly do this. I much rather tell them, look, you get to eat chocolate on your cleanse day. You can have it twice a day. You can have a black coffee, which is really, really tasty. And I am really big on sharing that with people, because I much rather have someone cleanse that way than not cleanse at all. So I found in our documentation, it brings up over and over again to really personalize our cleanse days. Do it the way it feels right for you. Listen to your body when you're cleansing. Have an extra snack wafer, that is. I do encourage people to stay away from, I know that some people suggest the almonds, but that's really on an individual case-by-case basis. I don't throw this out up front. But there's a lot of ways that we can personalize the cleanse. Some parts of the country were getting up in our temperature, so I'm really excited about having little cleanse slushies come for the temperatures. You can do a scoop of cleanse, scoop off the ISO fruits, throw in some ice and some water, blend it up to a nice slushy, and that's a great way to take a cleanse if taking it just liquid or it's just getting boring. You can warm it up. I know that Nick and Steph, they still look pretty bundled up over there, so if it's easy on them to warm up the water a little bit and put the cleanse in, mix in the cleanse there and have it more like a tea in the morning or in the evening, absolutely, perfectly okay to do it that way.
So let me ask you, what is different about our cleanse than some other cleanses?
It is a full body cellular cleanse. So it really supports the body in detoxing every cell in our body. And we're making the impurities water soluble so that we can flush them out of our system easy. Easy, and we're not locked in the bathroom all day, which is a good thing.
Can you speak to our aloe vera base a little bit?
What I know is that we're using the inner leaf of the aloe vera plant, which is the most potent part of the plant, if I'm not mistaken. And the ashwagandha comes back there too. That's also in our cleanse. We have ionic alfalfa in our cleanse. So there's a lot of, again, good minerals that support the body in our natural function. So I don't know how too much about the aloe vera leaf other than what I shared, that it's the most potent part of the plant. So if someone wants to chime in there and share, that'll be awesome.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so what they do is they actually use the heart of the aloe vera plant, specifically only the heart. And they have like I don't know if it's patented, but they use a specific extraction for that. And the reason why they do that is because in the rest of the leaf, there's actually a component that deactivates the active ingredient in the heart of the aloe plant. Because what you'll do is you'll see in the stores aloe vera gel or aloe vera drink, but they just grind it all up. So what you're doing is you're combining a deactivated agent and the active ingredient that you're trying to benefit from. But we don't do that. We just take the inside heart pure of the aloe vera.
Boom.
Good job.
Awesome.
True story. Because other ones, just other places where you get out, they just smash it to get it out. But once you smash the outside into the inside, it deactivates everything. So what about, did you know that we have 3 layers of toxicity or 3 levels of toxicity? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Water-soluble toxins, fat-soluble toxins, and metabolic waste.
And what's important about that?
What's important about that is that there are athletes who wonder, should I be cleansing? And athletes produce an immense amount of metabolic waste. So yes, they should. And in addition to that, a lot of programs out there will address the water-soluble toxins and leave the fat-soluble toxins and the metabolic waste behind. So the body hits a point where there's so many toxins in the bloodstream that are of the fat-soluble nature, the metabolic waste nature. So the brain says, all right, well, we still got toxicity in there. We have to produce more fat cells so that those toxins are stored and they don't enter the organs. So the rebound phenomenon occurs. So with us, we're dealing with all 3 tiers of toxicity, so that rebounding doesn't occur.
Awesome. So if you have somebody who's been, not treating themselves right or overtaking meds, or how much metabolic waste, or somebody who's elderly, how much metabolic waste is built up in their system that they're not able to absorb their nutrition.
Lots and lots and lots.
Right. So we see as we detox the body that the nutrient absorption goes up. which is huge for metabolic syndrome, and also good for inflammation, which is why when you see in our clinical studies, inflammation is such a key factor of being reduced in our clinical studies. And the nurse has given me a thumbs up, so I'm saying that that's a good thing.
Huh.
Can anybody think of anything else?
Jojo, this is Lisa. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So our cells have receptor sites, correct? Which are like little, kind of like pores that get plugged?
Correct.
And the cells, that's part of the toxicity, correct? That's one of the layers that the cleanse unplugs and basically cleans out so that our cell's healthy to retain the nourishment or the nutrition from our products, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that just a toxin, or is it just plugged with toxicity, or would that be metabolic waste?
It's metabolic waste. It's old cells. It's toxicity in the system. When you think about all of the waste that our body goes through, if you think about the fuzzies you get on your teeth after not brushing them for a day, right? So pretty gross. So don't brush your body for a year on the inside. How much little fuzzies are you going to have filling up all your little cells, right? So it's something that we don't think about, because our bodies are naturally created to filter and process, and that's what our liver and our kidneys and those are supposed to, those organs function as our filters. The issue is that because of the amount of toxicity in our environment, our food, all of those things, we run into the issue of those things not functioning correctly, because they can't filter all the things that we come in contact with. They have no clue what most of that is. And because the liver and the kidney don't know what to do with them, and they send them back into the bloodstream, those toxins end up in our fat cells. And even though it's protecting us, it doesn't, make the fat cells in our butt any happier. Chels?
Right. Thank you.
At the presentation that Dave did this week here in St. George, I learned something new that I hadn't learned before, because he had said that everybody has the same amount of fat cells. You're not going to lose fat cells. So you have fat cells and you're going to keep fat cells. And if the toxins get absorbed by the fat cells grow. So when you're cleansing, you're not getting rid of fat cells, you're shrinking them back down because you're letting the toxins out. And I had always thought when you cleanse, you're getting rid of that, but you're not. You have the same amount of fat cells no matter what. You're just cleaning them out and letting them shrink back down to their regular size instead of being a sponge and expanding because they're soaking up all the garbage. So. Exactly. That is exactly it. And, what's key about that too, thank you, Chelsea, is that as we're going up and down, right? So our fat cells get bigger, our fat cells get smaller. So when people say you lose fat, you don't really lose fat. And then when our body go into toxic overload mode, so when we start to yo-yo back up, we don't gain more fat cells. What happens is that our pancreas pumps out fat and it just fills up the fat cells that are already there, right? So the only way to get rid of a fat cell is to have it sucked out of your body. But do you know what your body does? It will make your other fat cells larger to compensate for the ones that you took out. So when you see people get liposuction and they end up with like weird spaces or blotch, or like if you ever look up like liposuction oopsies, you'll see what I'm talking about, because the fat will go to a spot to make up for the fat cells that were taken out.
It looks like pockets.
Look, yes. So key point. So we want to make sure that, which is why we see when people go to the gym and they live on celery and carrots, we shrink down the fat cells, but we don't deal with the toxicity. when we can deal with that toxicity by cleansing and then going to the gym and eating the right nutrition, that's why everything changes. And so people go, I'll do the system, but I won't cleanse. And that's great, but let's understand why we do it. So whether it's nightly cleansing or daily cleansing or, you know, a full day, 2 day. And I find that, you know, when we look at John Anderson's, this is how you cleanse, there is no isodelites. There is no e-shots. There is none of that. He says, suck it up for a day. Suck it up, buttercup. It's a day, right? And you can, and yes, sometimes we have to go, okay, the Scooby snacks they're not a party, but when you are, they are there to balance your body. And those snack wafers are the important balance, perfect balance of fats and proteins and amino acids to help keep you balanced through a cleanse day. So if you're cleansing and not using snacks, you are actually missing a key essential piece of how our cleanse works. And your cleanse will work better if you use the snacks. Wafers, the little wafers. Cool. And do I want to give people chocolates? Yes. And if I have to, I will. But, and whey thins, they recommend that you do 2 to 3 whey thins, and it's good protein, and you are getting the aminos. And I have had a conversation with a couple of the doctors, and they feel like it can be the same using a couple of the whey thins as it is using the snacks. I haven't heard John Anderson weigh in on it. When I ever get him by himself, I'll ask him the question. Because, I mean, no matter what, we want to make cleanse days easier for people, and having a couple of whey thins could potentially do that because they get to have something that's a little bit more of a party than our snacks, right? Questions? Anybody have any bad thing about the cleanse? Vinny showed his face, so I'm imagining he's got something to say.
No, not really. I showed my face because I was done eating it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to see you.
No, but I was going to say, I always have followed what John Anderson says about the cleanse. And, you know, I hear everybody saying, oh, we can do whey thins and we can do these things. And I'm just one of those people, unless I hear it from the horse's mouth, I don't do it. And the horse's mouth has always told me to my face, do the cleanse like it was intended to be done. Don't add anything to it. So until he actually tells me that whey thins are good, I'm not going to suggest them to anybody. But we all are who we are. So, you know, if you want to suggest them to people, it is the same protein.
Yes.
That are in the snacks. So I honestly don't see why we can't use them. However, until John Anderson actually tells me to my face that we can use them.
I personally, if you gave me the choice between the whey thins and the isodelites, I think that the whey thins are a better option because of the protein and amino acid balance. And the isodelite is more of I would use that more for, you know, potentially somebody who already has a blood sugar issue or is anemic or crashes easily. And then I would actually probably use an isodelite and the snack together. But you made me just think of something, and now I just, it's gone. Okay, well, I guess it wasn't that important. But, you know, setting people up for success comes into helping them understand mindset-wise what it's going to be like to, you know, around 4 or 5 o'clock, your body's going to go, hey, why haven't you chewed anything all day? You might have a rough spot. Suck on a snack, drink a glass of water, and go do something to occupy your mind, and you'll get past it. And, you know, inevitably, if I set somebody up ahead of time of the things that are going to take place, they'll do better getting through the day. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments?
I have something to add.
Please.
With the Cleanse for Life, there is also colostrum in that, which is it's basically the pre-milk for a nursing when a mother's nursing her newborn baby. And that has a lot of antibodies in it. So it's very good to kind of refresh a lot of your cells.
The immune system builder. And
Yes.
thank you for bringing that up. So, colostrum is what a baby gets the first 3 days after being born when they breastfeed. So that's what a mother's milk is made of. And you know what else has colostrum in it? Our ice-immune. So really important. So that's why I don't ever, if you ever see me without a bottle of ice-immune, it would be a very unusual time. I typically have one in my purse. I always fly with it. I go everywhere with it. Vitamin C and ice-immune, our C lights and our ice-immune, best immune system builder ever. Good. Thank you for that. That was a great point. All right, guys. I know we've gone long and we had a lot to do, but hopefully that was helpful. And I know there's probably other things on the cleanse because there's so much and I just can't think right at this moment. But so good, helpful. And do we want to tell everybody all of this stuff? No, but Oh, also, you cannot digest and detox at the same time. So if you are recommending to somebody have a hard-boiled egg or eat a handful of nuts or, whatever those things are that we see out there on some of those Facebook pages that give really bad advice, that is not good advice to tell somebody to have a hard-boiled egg or to eat a handful of almonds because that will immediately take them out of detox. That's why the snack wafers are a good balance all day long. So if you're going to do a snack wafer or a couple of whey thins every hour, a little something that you're not doing your cleanse. So be careful that you're not pulling people out of detox. Cool? Vinny Beat?
And also, to add to what Jojo just said, be aware when you look at those pages like Isogenics Business and things like that, somebody will ask a question and a lot of people will answer these questions and the answer is absolutely 100% wrong. So be aware that these pages, even though they were set up to help us in our businesses or maybe, other things about the products, a lot of people that chime in really have not studied and don't know what the true answer is, and they'll post something and then people will start adding it. Next thing you know, you'll see 30 different answers. My suggestion is check it out for yourself. Go to Isogenics Health. Go to our own pages that we know that are run by the company, and that's where you're going to get your answers. Don't ever rely on those pages for true answers.
For sure. Good. All right. Well, I guess Derek had to hop off to go take care of the baby. So thank you to Derek. Thanks to Nick and Steph. Sorry, Steph. I'll message you next time. And thanks, Katya. Thank you guys for all of your input and thought processes. And have a great week. Good job, Chelsea. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Opinion versus fact. I agree. Thanks, everybody. Go rock your life. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.